Welcome, everyone, to Young at Heart, nursery rhymes, poems, stories, and songs to keep us all young at heart. I'm Father James DeLucio with the Paulist Fathers, and you find me once again in the Paulist Fathers Rectory Library here in New York City. I'd like to begin with a meditation, not quite a poem, recommended by my friend Sheila. It's called The Train of Life, and it comes to us from the Philippines and credited to have been found in the Batangueno diaries. The Batanguenos are the people who live in the province of Batangas, and that is the ancestral home of the Tagalog people of the Philippines. What's wonderful about this is that it shows as the Philippines was moving into the modern centuries, a part of the Western world, they too were drawn to what really matters in this life, what's essential, what's important. And that's always good to keep us thoughtful and young at heart. Here we go. The train of life. Life is like a journey on a train, with its stations, with its changes of routes, and with accidents. At birth, we boarded the train and we met our parents, and we believe that they will always travel at our side. However, at some station, our parents will step down from the train, leaving us on the journey alone. As time goes by, other people will board the train, and they will be significant, i.e., siblings, friends, children, and even the love of your life. Many will step down from the train and leave a void, a permanent vacuum. Others will go so unnoticed that we don't realize that they vacated their seats, which is very sad when you think about it. This train ride will be full of joy, sorrow, fantasies, and expectations. Hellos, goodbyes, and farewells. Success consists of having good relationships with all the passengers, requiring that we give the best of ourselves. The mystery of everyone is that we do not know at which station we too will step off the train. So we must live in the best way we can. Love, forgive, offer the best of who we are. It is important to do this, because when the time comes for us to step down and leave our seat empty, we will have left, or should have left behind, beautiful memories for those who will continue their journey on the train of life. I wish you a joyful journey this year on the train of life. Reap success and give lots of love. Most importantly, give thanks for being on the journey. And lastly, I thank you for being a fellow passenger with me. So, that gives us a lot to contemplate. I often have to add a caveat every time I urge people to forgive, and I can't let it go yet this time either. Forgiveness is a process. And although we are called to forgive not only in Christianity, but in Judaism and Hinduism and Buddhism and Islam, all of the major religions, insist that forgiveness is a paramount need for humanity's survival, but also for peace of mind on a daily basis. This does not mean to let people walk over us, to allow people to abuse us, to act hostile to us. It does mean that it's a process that has to begin with us. So I find in my preaching, and I even offer a bit of a workshop on this, the first step to forgive, especially when we're really hurt and very angry, is to ask God to help us pity that person. To pity them that they fell into the violence of the world. To feel sorry that they have become obsessed with that particular issue, or the way that they're clinging so tightly that they don't see the forest for the trees, or they certainly don't see us as we hope to be seen and understood. And then from pity in time to work through to compassion, and then to that space that we're at peace in our hearts, that we recognize that they, like us, are just part of a fallible humanity. This doesn't mean the relationships have to continue, not in the case of physical, emotional abuse, negation of who we are, but in the absence, in the timeout, or with the forever severing of the relationship, we still can be in love with the reality of our life and God, and hope the very best for that person, that he or she will learn their lesson, freed from the compulsion that we're the ones that have to teach them that lesson. Because usually, in most cases, we're not the one who was called to teach them a lesson. Which reminds me of another one of my very favorite slogans. There's no point in teaching anyone anything until they have registered for the course. Don't teach when they haven't registered. It's just too much on a human being. Now, back to the more positive aspects of the train of life. And I focused on the forgiveness because usually I find when people hear meditations or poems or whatever, it's usually the crippling topic. It's usually the idea that we trip over a lot, that we're drawn to right away. So then we too don't see the forest for the trees. But we've been looking at, in many ways over the past sessions, the importance of seeing life in a more simple way, being in touch with our common humanity, and what's really important when we leave this world, and for those of us whose faith affirm that life changes, it doesn't end in death, we realize that this journey goes on and on and on, and every act of love, every act of forgiveness, it echoes through eternity, through space even. Scientists are telling us that, through space, literally, and in a physical way almost, and on to eternity. Well, I'd like to close with 3 short Mother Goose rhymes about going to bed, and you may be watching this late at night, so it'll be your bedtime poems. 2 are from Mother Goose. Off going to bed. Go to bed first, a golden purse. Go to bed second, a golden pheasant. Go to bed third, a golden bird. Now, if you were blessed as I was to be one of many siblings, that birth order also seemed to dictate our bed order. At least birth order went in reverse when it was time for bed. But there was something comforting about that ritual, each in his or her own time taking our bath or shower and watching a little more TV or a little more homework and then taking our turn. That's what that poem triggered for me. And here is another part of the childhood bedtime reality that still may be part of our adult sensibilities. Come, let's to bed, said Sleepyhead. Sit up a while, says Slow. Put on the pan, says Greedy Nan. Let's sup before we go. And that brings us to our final little verse. I actually wrote it. I wrote it several years ago. It's been a work in progress, especially when I was visiting my parents and their grandchildren, my nieces and nephews, were staying over, and it was bedtime. And this is what I came up with. Thirsty and tired, thirsty and tired. What's a toddler to do? Here's a cup. Drink up, then off to bed with you. Hungry and tired, hungry and tired. A cracker or cookie or two? Oh, what a fright. You'll be up all night. Now off to bed. Adieu. I hope that inspires you to write your own nursery rhyme. That's a great activity in these times when we're sequestered at home. Never be afraid to get in touch with the child within. Thank you so much for joining me. Stay healthy. God bless. And keep safe. God bless. Bye-bye.